Okay, so we're going to start with this chord progression, one of my favourites. Now, you can follow along using this chord progression, and then once you know the principles, you can put them onto any other chords that you like and make your own right from scratch. So we're going to be using A minor, then an F chord, then a C chord, and then a G chord. Now they're all just three note chords on the white notes. So there's your F, the A minor chord. Here's your F chord. Here's your C chord. And here's your G chord. Okay, now the best way to start out is to get if you're not sure about the chord progression, just get familiar with it. Now you will see here I'm using inversions as well. I'm not necessarily staying in the root position. So rather than going all the way down to the F chord here, I'm just moving my little finger up to the F note, and that makes an F chord. As long as you've got the same notes, then it's still the same chord. My left hand's just arpeggiating on the notes of the chord. So once you know the chord progression, pick a note. Any note from the first chord. So, let's see. Pick one that you like the sound of. Play the chord, play the note. No, that's not where I want to start. Maybe. That's more like it. So, that's the note that I want to use to start the song. Then I pick a note for the next chord. So I want to use that note. So the first chord was that one, so C. Then the next note, I've used an A note. Now for the C chord, let's use the G note. Playing notes and seeing if I like the sound of them or not. And it's a good idea to play the last note that you played and then go into it just to check that it fits. So I think we'll pick the D for the last one. So far we've got 4 notes. Okay, now all of these steps that I'm taking, if you're not sure about how you're going and you can't do it straight off like I am, get a piece of paper, write down the chords, write down your melody notes, so you'd write down C, A, G and D. So write them down, and that way you won't forget which ones you're working on. Okay, after you've got your main notes, which are sounding really nice, now if there's one that you're not particularly sure about, once you've put it all together, change it and change it to a different note. But so far we're sticking with notes that are in the chord, so each of those notes comes from one of the notes on the chord. Okay, next we put in some in-between notes. So we need a note, 1, 2, 3 notes, any amount, to go in between them, but keeping the rhythm. So we're staying 4 beats on each chord. So see, so that's quite nice to get there. We're putting a D and an E note to get up to that A. So it's starting off. Now maybe it doesn't need anything in between, so we'll just keep that the same. Now the second time it sounds like it wants to do something else, so we've got first time is fine. The second time wants to do something else there, so you pick notes and then, or you could go up instead of going down to the D, you could go up. So far we've got a simple little tune there to go with our chord progression. And then it wants to go into something else, or it might continue but with a different left hand, or a different riff in the left hand, or something like that. When I say riff, I mean it might, instead of playing the chords like that, I might go into a bass line. So we could start off so with the chords. As you can see, I'm replacing the chords that I was playing with the left hand, I'm playing them with the right hand now. But it's important to keep the melody note on top. So whichever the melody note was, if it was there, I put the chordal notes underneath. As you can see, that note there is almost changing into the C now. It sounds as if I want to go to the C rather than the G note. So this is what I've changed it to. So we're starting on C. So this is the first time through. The second time through, instead of going down to the G, see how I'm going to the C now? Just adds a little bit of difference, but it's still a chordal note. And then back to the D. Okay, so that's composed from the beginning, from a chord progression, just a basic tune. Now, as you can see, it can go anywhere from there. You can change the chord progression, you can change the rhythms, all of that can be changed, but the basics of it is you pick your chord progression, which you can use that one to start out with, just to try it out. Pick a note from each chord, so you've got one note for each chord. Then once you've got that and you're playing that quite well, remember, write it down if you can't remember it. Put in some in-between notes. All of them won't need in-between notes, just a few. And then when you've got that, you can make variations of that, like we did the second time through, we made it a little bit different. Then you you can change your rhythms, and then once you've gone over that and got it going through a few times, you might find you want to change the chord progression, and then you can have sort of like a verse and then a chorus and that sort of thing happening. So we'll leave it for there now, and the next thing we'll be going over, we'll go over how to change to other chord progressions. We'll go over intros and endings, and we'll just keep on going and advancing, but this is the easiest way that I've found for a beginner to compose a nice tune. Then also, don't forget to improvise. You might find, if you're good at improvising on music, doing exactly the same thing as before, it's just I'm doing it on the fly in real time, and then that way you can speed up the process, and then you can find that you'll, out of maybe, you might play for 15 minutes, but you might find out of that 15 minutes you'll get a few really special little parts that you can turn into amazing compositions or add to other compositions that you've got. Okay, so thanks for watching.